Hello and welcome back to the Barella Global YouTube channel. My name is Kyle Barella. I'm the managing attorney here at Barella Global. Today I want to talk to you about direct filing an immediate relative's sponsorship petition. But before I jump into what exactly direct filing is, I first want to go over the standard processing for filing for your immediate relative's sponsorship petition. So I'm going to use the example of spousal sponsorship, where a U.S. citizen is sponsoring their foreign national spouse for permanent resident status in the United States, in the case where the spouse, the foreign national spouse, lives outside of the U.S. Standard processing works as such. The U.S. citizen submits their petition on behalf of their foreign national spouse with United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, that's USCIS, with the USCIS office in the United States. USCIS will adjudicate that petition. Once they've finished their adjudication, if it's been approved, they'll then kick it off to the Department of State, that's the DOS, and it'll first go to what's known as the National Visa Center, the NVC. The NVC is responsible for the electronic uploading of certain documentation, biographical documentation, police records, the financial information that is required for the affidavit of support, as well as the main sponsorship application, the immigrant visa application, which is known as the DS-260 application. When the NVC has finished their processing, if everything has gone according to plan, the NVC will liaise with the local U.S. embassy or consular post and schedule the immigrant visa interview for the U.S. citizen's foreign national spouse, and the foreign national spouse will subsequently attend their immigrant visa appointment. If that is approved, they will receive the immigrant visa. When they enter the United States with that immigrant visa and CBP stamps their immigrant visa, at that moment they'll officially be a U.S. permanent resident. So where does direct filing come into play, and what is direct filing? Direct filing is when a U.S. citizen directly requests that the local U.S. embassy or consular posts handle the sponsorship matter directly in-house, thereby avoiding filing with USCIS, thereby avoiding processing with the NVC. But it's important to note that not every U.S. citizen is eligible to make a direct filing request. Before I jump into the eligibility requirements for a direct filing request, let's talk about the advantages of a direct filing request if the direct filing request is approved. By far, the biggest advantage of having your direct filing request approved is that it will significantly reduce processing times for the sponsorship matter. For example, the standard route that I discussed, that typically takes around 18 months from start to finish. So that's a year and a half that, in the example of a spouse, that the spouses will be apart. If direct filing is approved and used, for example, let's say through the U.S. Embassy in London, it will significantly reduce those processing times, taking it down from around 18 months down to around 4 to 6 months. So that is a dramatic decrease in the overall time that it takes for a U.S. citizen to sponsor their immediate relative for permanent residency in the United States. Another advantage is being able to avoid USCIS and the NVC. Again, if direct filing is approved, everything is going to be processed directly through the U.S. Embassy, thereby avoiding USCIS adjudication in the United States, thereby avoiding the NVC stage where documents need to be uploaded. This is not relevant if a direct filing request is approved, and this can of course also help save time because there can be a lot of hiccups that happen either with USCIS processing, perhaps there's delays in processing at the specific USCIS office, or the transfer of the case to the NVC is not happening as quickly. There are, of course, a lot of delays that are reported at the NVC level, documents not being accepted even though they meet the requirements as outlined in the reciprocity schedule. So again, direct filing avoids all of these multiple agencies rather, and everything is done in-house at a local embassy or consular post. Okay, so who is eligible to make a direct filing request? U.S. citizens living abroad who meet one of the exceptional circumstance requirements are eligible in order to make the direct filing request. It's very important to note that the U.S. citizen must be legally residing abroad in order to qualify to make the request. The Department of State will not approve a direct filing request from an American citizen who normally resides in the U.S. and who travels abroad simply to make the direct filing request. You must be legally resident in the country where you're making the request, and the local consular post is going to want to see proof of your status in the country where you're making a request. Again, let's take the U.S. Embassy in London as an example. If you're a U.S. citizen legally residing in the U.K., when you make the direct filing request, you will need to provide proof that you legally reside in the U.K. So if you're, let's say, a dual citizen of the US and the UK, you will need to provide a copy of your UK passport to demonstrate that you're legally allowed to reside in the United Kingdom. Alternatively, if you're a US citizen and you're in the UK on some other immigration status, you'll need to provide a copy of your visa or your resident permit card in order to meet the requirement that you legally reside in the country where the request is made. What's also, of course, extremely important is that you must meet one of the exceptional circumstances in order to qualify. So the exceptional circumstances are outlined by USCIS, meaning what scenarios qualify, or rather what scenarios render a U.S. citizen eligible in order to make the direct filing request. So of course there will be common ones that one would normally think of. For example, a medical emergency would qualify as an exceptional circumstance, or a U.S. citizen who lives abroad who has adopted a child and wants to move back to the United States. This would qualify as an exceptional circumstance. But again, those are not common scenarios. I would say by far the most common scenario that we see at our practice as the basis for an exceptional circumstance request from a U.S. citizen is a short notice job offer or short notice job transfer for the U.S. citizen back to the United States. This is the number one basis that we see and in our practice used in order to make the direct filing request. Ultimately, it's very important to note that the DOS is not obligated to approve a direct filing request, even if a U.S. citizen is legally residing abroad and they meet one of the exceptional circumstance requirements. Unfortunately, again, the embassy, it's their discretion whether or not to approve or refuse that request. Therefore, again, it's extremely important that any direct filing request is properly prepared and the relevant supporting documentation is submitted along with the request in order to support it. That said, even if the U.S. citizen does not meet one of the exceptional circumstances outlined by USCIS, the DOS, in their discretion, can approve a direct filing request for any reason that they see fit. So even if you may not qualify based off of one of the exceptional circumstances outlined by USCIS, it's still possible that the DOS could approve your direct filing request despite it not being included on the standard list of exceptional circumstances. Also, it's important to note that if a U.S. citizen has already filed the family-based petition in the United States with USCIS, the Department of State will not entertain the direct filing request, and of course that means they will not approve any direct filing requests. So that's important as well. So timing, taking that into consideration is very important. So what is the Barella Global Advantage? The Barella Global Advantage in terms of a direct filing request is the fact that we have offices abroad. We frequently represent US citizens who reside in the UK, in Belgium, in France, or other parts of Europe with their direct filing requests in order to sponsor their immediate relative for permanent residency in the United States. So this is something that we handle quite regularly at our practice. We have a great deal of experience representing US citizens in their direct filing requests. And again, just being able to reduce that processing time down from 18 months to 4 to 6 months is extremely valuable. If you're a US citizen living abroad and you'd like to learn more about saving time by making a direct filing request in order to sponsor your immediate relative for permanent residency in the US, contact Barella Global today to arrange a confidential consultation. As always, thank you for taking the time to visit our channel. We look forward to being your global partner in US immigration. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest content from Barella Global. Thank you.